Craig here, and welcome back to my kitchen and cooking with Drench. Today what I'm going to do is not actually cook. I'm going to go back and I'm going to make one of my childhood favourite food treats. So today what I'm going to be doing is making biltong. I'm actually going to use my father's secret recipe, but I'll let you into a little secret. It was never a secret. This is just how you make biltong. I think he wanted to add a little bit of mystique to the whole process. But this is quite clearly a very long and traditional way of preserving meat. So, I spent a huge length of time trying to perfect this technique. I spent most of my teenage years and well into my 20s trying to make biltong in my bedroom in Scotland, in Edinburgh. Less than half the time it was really successful and was really delicious. Unfortunately, with Scotland having the reputation of being such a hot and dry country, more than half the time it was a complete failure, with the meat rotting, so either really stinking my room out, or you would bite into it and although it was dry on the outside, it was rotten in the middle, which was not a very pleasant treat. So I did eventually give up on trying to make biltong in Scotland. Then, many years later, I stumbled across, I found a lot of videos on YouTube about making a biltong dryer or a biltong box, which is one of these things here. So on a whim, I actually decided to make one, which is here. This cost me less than £20 to make. Obviously, I got most of it went on the plastic box, and I got that in the sales. And since then, the results, well, I think the results have been absolutely phenomenal, and I've successfully made biltong in Scotland. Unfortunately, meat prices have shot up since I first tried to start making this. So making it is now back to being a food treat. Right, before we get in nice and close, let me go through all the things you will need. I've got 1 kilogram of meat, just under a kilogram of meat, whatever you choose. I'll have a little discussion about that in a second. I'm going to go for 4 grams of whole black peppercorns. You can use 2 grams of just black pepper. I'm going to go for 1 gram of brown sugar. I've got whole coriander. I'm going to use 8 grams of that, or you can use 4 grams of just powdered coriander. I'm going for 4 grams of cumin seeds. If you want to just go for ground cumin, use 2 grams of that. I'm going for 2 grams of chilies, crushed chilies. You can leave those out if you like. I do like things spicy, as you already know. I've got some malt vinegar. I'm going to go for half a cup of that, and I've got half a cup of Worcestershire sauce. So let me get all of this tidied down. We'll get nice and close in, and I'll get this box out of the way so I've actually got a little bit of room to maneuver. Right, as you can see, the biltong box is out of the way. In here, what I've done is I've mixed together the vinegar, the Worcestershire sauce, and the brown sugar. Got the chilies and the salt separate here. And then we've got the coriander, the peppercorns, and the cumin seeds all here as well. So, what we need to do is, we need to get, first of all, is get all of this stuff crushed up. So into the mortar, what I'm going to put is all the peppercorns, all the peppers, or as many of them as I can rather than spilling them over the top. They are all nicely into the mortar. One of the favourite things I loved, and I still love, is the fact that you're getting bites of peppercorn, you're getting bites of coriander when you come to chew the biltong. So first off, I got this pestle and mortar from Amazon. Let's get this. Try not to make too much of a mess. Okay, that is looking absolutely perfect. There are a few bits that, oh no, that one's been crushed as well. The smell that's coming off that is so good. Let's just put those aside now. And next bit we need to do is get the meat cut out. So let me get the meat out, and then I will get the chopping board out, and we can get onto that as well. Okay, there is the meat. Let me just move this out of the way. That's the dish we're going to put it into. So let's put that there. Okay, the meat for biltong. I've always worked on a general rule of thumb. Biltong is red meat. Don't think I've ever eaten anything that's not been red meat. Game is very, very good for this. I've eaten some weird biltongs over the years. All been very, very nice, but all been red meat or game. The only bird, ostrich. But researching all of this, I found there was lots and lots of different recipes with meat that I would never consider using for it. Knock yourself out if you want to try. This I am using is braising steak. Okay, not the best cut of meat, definitely not the worst cut of meat. I'm going to leave the fat on because the fat makes the best part of it. But what we're going to do is we're going to get this cut into strips. I'm going to get the first two bits out of the way. I've always said as well that I didn't want you to see my butchery skills or my knife skills, but today I am going to do that. All right, we want to cut it with the grain, and we want to make it probably, that should be fine there, look at that. Okay, we're going to make them about that thick. They are going to shrink down a massive amount. Right, in fact, I'll get 3 out of here. That looks so good. Remember, in your biltong box, you've got to make sure that they're not touching the bottom of the box. I'll get 3 out of here as well, I think. These are obviously shorter bits. Not quite a kilo of meat. This is about 800 grams. But it was nice and reduced, so definitely well worth it. Okay. What I'll do, I'll marinate these bits in this one. In fact, I'll probably marinate them all in the same bowl. Again, 3 bits out of this one as well. So. Slightly across the grain, but hey. Right, I tell you what, that is going to be absolutely delicious. Right, let's get that out of the way. Let me wipe this surface down. Don't need the knife anymore. So the meat is sitting in there nicely. Okay. Gonna marinate it so it's not gonna be too bad. Okay, so that fits nicely now. I don't need 2 bowls. Okay, let me just get wiped down and I will come back. Okay, all wiped down. Right, that meat is looking so good. Now, let's just move that out of the way for a second. Let's get all the herbs and spices into one little pot. Try not to spill like we did last time. Do it towards the camera, might be useful. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. Sound skills not the best. Right. There we go. That's looking good. Okay, move that one out of the way. Meat first. What we need to do, we need to get this all soaking. Oh, that's not dissolved. So the sugar is not dissolved in there. Right, so still not all gone. Okay, right. Now, this is where your biltong recipes are going to vary. Okay, there might just be a little bit too much in there. We just wanted to marinate. This is the way I was always shown to do it, is to get a nice lot of vinegar, Worcestershire sauce in there. Some people just say just to coat the biltong and no more. I do what I like in terms of what I find works. And like I've said, this is the way I've always done it. Okay. Now, what we need is about half of the herbs and spices in there. So let's get that all covered over nicely with all of this. Probably a little bit. Ooh, work that in nicely. Right, you want to work that into the meat so it actually sticks to it. Getting turned over. Nice. Just sort of massage it into the meat. Okay, we're going to leave the other half of the spices. We're going to use that in about 12 hours time. Okay, but let's get those all marinated in. I'm probably using a tiny bowl with filling it right up as it gets a bit of it coming out over the sides. Right, that is looking and smelling already so good. I think crushing up the herbs and spices makes it so good. Okay. What we need to do, this now needs to go in to the fridge for 12 hours. We'll get that covered over with tin foil and we'll get that into the fridge for 12 hours and then we'll come back. Okay, that's been probably about 10 hours now. Right, so let's get this. So you turn these over. Make sure they get all marinated nicely. As you can see, a lot of that juice has been, or the marinade sauce has been soaked into it. The smells coming off is so good just now. Right, let's get these. what we'll do. So, right, let's get those all crushed in nicely like that. These ones on there as well. Okay, so like before, just want to get that all pressed in nicely and make sure that it's all nicely covered with the vinegar and the Worcestershire sauce. But that is, like I said, the smell is so good as it's just come. The smell is so good as the flavors are absorbing into the meat. Okay, right, let's get that covered over one more time. Right, that's going to go back into the fridge, and that's going to go in for another 10 to 12 hours, and then that is ready to go. Let's have a quick look at this box. Like I said, there are plenty of videos on YouTube showing you how to make one of these. So this is not why I'm going to be doing this. I'll put this away somewhere else. We've got a lid, some holes in the lid. Let's turn the box over on its side. As you can see, in the box I have some of these poles. They've just, they're plastic covered metal poles, and I've sealed them in so no insects can actually get into the sides. In the bottom, we've got a couple more ventilation holes. We've got two at the front, one on either side. Again, like the holes on the top, they are covered with mosquito netting that's just glued on so that there is no chance of insects being able to get in. Get the lid back on. Okay. And in the bottom, at the back, hopefully you can see that quite nicely, a nice little incandescent light bulb in there. It's only a 60-watt bulb, just needs to generate a little bit of heat. That's going to get the convection currents, getting the air flowing in through the holes at the bottom and out through the holes at the top. It really generates enough heat not to require any additional heating to help this dry off, and the whole process is only going to take 5 to 7 days depending on how dry you want your biltong to be. Let's get that switched off. I'll get that moved out the way so that I can finish getting the meat ready so that it can go straight into this box. So that's just under 24 hours done. Ooh, looking really good there. Right, as you can see, the box is in the background here. But what we need to do first is I've got meat hooks. Again, bought these off Amazon. Let's get some of these actually hooked up so we can get them ready to put them into the into the box and get them started to dry. So very simply, sharp bit, blunt bit. So all we want to do is get the hook through the meat like that. Let's put them over here out of the way while we do all these, and that will then be ready to be hung up. So obviously make sure you don't stab yourself with the meat hooks. That's that all done. Let me just clear this away. I'll change the angle slightly so we can get a better view of the box as well. Everything cleared away nicely. Alright, first thing we need to do is get the bottom of this box lined with just some kitchen roll. Okay, it makes the clearing up a lot easier. Because obviously my rods are fixed rods, so they are not coming out, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to get in and clean it properly. So I just want to make sure that the kitchen roll is not touching the light bulb as well. Okay, all ready to go. Now, avoiding going directly over the bulb, all we need to do is hang the meat. Make sure it's evenly distributed. As you notice, it already started to drip. I haven't taken any of the liquid off from these, so make sure we don't drop any onto the bulb as well. Okay, that is looking, better view of it? Okay, let's see if we can get a top down angle so you can see actually what's happening. Okay, now that is ready. Okay, let's get the lid on. It's not going to sit here. Will take up far too much of my kitchen, so I've got a little space out of the way in the dining room where this can sit and dry off nicely. What we're going to do, I'm going to leave this for 2 days like this with the light on. 24/7. If you want to keep checking on them, we will do, but I'll come back in 2 days, see how they're getting on. It will take, some of these pieces will take, the big thick one in the middle will probably take a full 6 or 7 days. This will be ready to start chewing on in 3 to 4 days, but I do like it really dry, so I will be leaving it probably 6 to 7 days. But you will be able to feel a breeze coming out through the top vents once the convection currents start getting going. So I'll see you in 2 days. is 2 days gone. So let's have a little look at what's happening. Let's see if we can get a decent view inside. As you can see, there's quite a lot of liquid come off, like I said. It's just moving because obviously I've just moved it in here. But what we'll do, let's just take this piece of the front. It's nowhere near ready. I know that for certain. So have a little look at that piece. You can squish it. It's still a bit squishy. If you really want to, you can eat it. Feels quite warm to the touch as well. You definitely see the colour has changed. The smell is coming through so nicely as well. So what I'll do, I'll put that in for another 2 days and we will have a little look at that point. So after 4 days, it may be worth having a little taste. I might just have a taste anyway, but I'll see you in another 2 days. So that is 4 days now gone. I had a little look at these yesterday. That is really, really dry already. So what I'm going to do, let me take that one piece out. We'll put that there. Let me get this box out of the way. A couple of these other bits, let's have a little look at this one. That's still a bit damp, but that one's fine. That might take another day or two. But let me taste this one. What we'll do, we'll get that cut open, have a little try. But let me get the box moved out of the way first. There we go. It's quite a thin piece, but let's have a little. Ooh. Tell you what, it's a very, very dry piece. Whoa. I think this is going to be absolutely perfect. Dig out definitely a sharper knife. Oh yeah, look at that. That is dry all the way through. Even that fat in the middle. Let's have a little taste of that. That is really good. Oh, and a kick of spice there. Very chewy. So we're up to day 6 on this dry. I've taken the lid off just to make things easier. Let's get the light off. When I looked at it on day 4, I did eat that whole piece that I tried on day 4. It was very thin and it was very, very dry. When I looked at the other bits, they were a lot thicker and they were not, well, still quite squidgy, should I say. So now, we're a couple more days in and these are much, much firmer up. One we'll probably do with another day. This one, yeah, that one's the same, another day at least. These ones at the back are ready to come out. That one is rock hard, so that one I can take out. That one there, that's ready to go. That one definitely ready to go. Oh. Throwing them away. That one definitely ready. And this one, a little bit thicker, but I'll tell you what, that is really good. Right, let's get these last 3 back on. I'll move that one to the back there like that. Just so they're all nice and close around where the ventilation is. So let me get this out of the way and we'll try another piece. Let's go for this thick bit. Let's get these other bits out of the way. Nice bit of fat at the top there. Hook out the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into 3 little bits and then slice it. So this first cut is always the hardest because it's across the grain. But these cuts should be with the grain, should be much easier. cut my fingers off. Oh, look at that. Now, let's get a nice view of that. If my thing can focus, that is looking so good and nice and dry as well. Right. So, let's have a little nibble on this end bit, that nice little bit. Yeah, you're getting the, as you chew on it, all the flavours coming out. That is so good. Right, I'll finish chewing that very, very quickly. What I will do, I'm now going to end the video at this point. These will store for months and months and months like this. If you want, put them in the fridge. I tend just to put them into a bag and leave them on the counter at the side. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please like, subscribe, share, and I will see you next time.